isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Subdate 210129.1. We've traced the Suliban cell ship via a fragmented warp signature to an Omicron radiation-dense water nebula. You know, I love that these genetically modified gecko freaks think they're safe from me in there. Lol. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter, or Twat. Today we have 7 subjects I'd like to go through. It is also worth pointing there were many more on the chopping board. So the ones I've gone with are the ones that put the biggest smile on my face. So first we're going to go with the random block of the week, which actually was something I only noticed after my friend White Sith Male replied to a patron of mine saying he's blocked, to which I then looked and realised I was too. Crispo, the patron in question, tweeted, "This thread is pure gold." The thread in question goes to William Legate, who was oddly enough tweeting about the subreddit Wall Street Bets. Now this has spiraled out of control. It has gotten quite spicy and incredibly heated. For me, as an outsider, it's hilarious. So I'm going to link a video by Styx Hexenhammer who covers this well. I just want to focus on the fact somebody I've never heard of has me blocked. And I do firmly believe it qualifies as a random block because I saw it in passing and was not exactly looking for it. And in before someone says, but Meg, this is a really hot topic, you should pounce on it. Yes, you're right. But I don't have the time to invest myself in understanding it. All I've gotten from it is Reddit trolled, and Wall Street decided to protect themselves along with a number of apps. Oh dear, Robin Hood, stealing from the rich, to give back to the rich. It was delicious. So to our second subject we go to Daniel Sandford, blue checkmark BBC Daniel S, Home Affairs correspondent for BBC News. At £13.99 a month, Netflix is now more than the BBC license, and there is no radio, no live TV, no news online, etc., etc. For the sake of it, I don't have Netflix, I don't watch TV, I don't use Amazon even though I have access to it with Prime, I don't watch much. So I'm going to throw that in there now and say as far as horses go, I don't really care. But I do when it comes to the BBC. Defund the BBC. Obligatory message, of course. It may be more expensive, by the way, Netflix than the BBC, but more people gravitate towards Netflix because of the amount of money they invest in new shows. Something the BBC has not done in a long time. It is exactly the same stuff every single day. It is trash. Additionally, it is legally mandated trash. If you own a television or watch TV, you have to have a license. That money mostly goes to the BBC, who produce the same trash, and spend way too much money on EastEnders' new set that nobody actually cares about. You've gone over budget, and the taxpayers are still footing the bill. So by all means, Daniel Sandford, suck off the BBC more and more to secure your job. But quite frankly, just because the BBC offer other dead mediums, radio, and the live TV, which is heavily regulated, comparing that to Netflix is a little imbalanced because everyone is going to say because you're the BBC, screw the BBC, sign me up for Netflix. Oh, and the other reason I don't have Netflix is because I spend a certain amount on Spotify instead. I prefer music. To move on from that, we're going to go to The Zombie Unicorn. You should all remember The Zombie Unicorn. Zombie Unicorn is one of the best headphone salespeople you'll ever have the pleasure of watching cringy streams from. Bully Hunters, if you don't remember. Who has decided to @ Twitter Safety, @ Twitter Support, and @ Twitter Gaming. Hey, there's a fresh assortment of white supremacists and Quanons. I know what that's meant to say, but I'm just going to say it that way because it's funnier. Conspiracy theorists in my mentions. If you're looking for the next batch of 70,000 accounts to ban, thumb up emoji. Firstly, I doubt they're going to pay you much attention. No offense intended. I say this because I was looking at the ratio for most of your tweets more recently. They're pretty dead. And then I noticed something odd. You've got the replies turned off unless you're the person tagged in the tweet. Are those mentions in the quote retweets perhaps? Is someone getting salty that there is one other avenue people can exploit to criticize you, when all you have to do is mute and or block them. Sounds to me like somebody's been begging attention. Bit sad, isn't it? The zombie unicorn. Perhaps you should just go back to selling headphones, like a good little Twitch streamer. In the theme of gamers, we're going to now go to Kathy Griffin, who is obviously not a gamer. If it wasn't obvious enough, she's just a comedian. Nothing screams of comedy more than a piece of art holding a faux deceased president's head. It's very empowering. Where's the Biden one? So Kathy Griffin tweets, "Hey techie, smarty pants followers of mine, do you think what happened with my Trump photo scandal, being such an international overblown outrage, could have been because of this Gamergate thing I'm just learning about?" The answer is no. People were holding you to a standard, and you didn't like it when the criticism was kind of valid. Also, Gamergate was a consumer revolt against the corrupt games journalists. It was recognized as such. Are you now telling me that Kathy Griffin holding the head of Donald Trump, faux head of Donald Trump, was a consumer revolt against the presidency? I mean, I didn't buy it, but he was your president for 4 years. It's in the history books, and history will remember absolutely everything that was done. Obviously, it's told by the winners, so it might get skewed a little. And in before you say, this is about the white nationalist men, that wasn't Gamergate. There were a lot of girls involved. You'd know this if you were involved. And before you tell me they have internalized misogyny, sure they do. All of them have it internalized. To move on from a boomer, we're now going to go to a zoomer, a former Twitch streamer, and I say former for a reason, who did the following.
Dude! God damn it! Fucking $300 fucking controller! Yo, can I fucking press pause? Just sit right here. Stop. I gotta go, yo. I'm about to fucking lose it, yo.
I'm not best impressed with this clip for one glaringly obvious reason. And no, it's not because they suck at the game. Although they do suck at that game. Children and streaming. Many make the argument about children and YouTube videos, with families that do videos together. I personally am not a fan of it. But if it doesn't breach TOS, you're fine. I do take issue though when you're screaming and shouting while there's a baby strapped to your chest. There's a reason you stopped streaming. Can you remember what it is yet? Or are you just hunkering down until this all blows over, to resurface at a later date, having not learnt your lesson? For our next subject, I should have possibly put this person before Kathy Griffin or after Kathy Griffin, as it is in the political sphere. For this, we go to Will Wilkinson. If Biden really wanted unity, he'd lynch Mike Pence. Well, that's quite a spicy tweet. I'm all for free speech. I'm also British. We'd much rather hung, drawn and quartered. But you know what? You do you. You put out these ideas of unity by bringing about the death of another person. The levels of tolerance, people. I'd also point out, lynching Pence. He confirmed the vote. He could have avoided it if he was a bit more of a dick. Understandably, because of the criticism that Will Wilkinson received, he had to delete the tweet, and eventually put the tweet back up as an image with the following tweet. Last night I made an error of judgment and tweeted this. It was sharp sarcasm, but looks like a call for violence. That's always wrong, even as a joke. It was especially wrong at a moment when unity and peace are so critical. Tell that to the congressmen and women who are suggesting that Republican congressmen, women, and Senate as well, who are in any way possibly not condemning what happened in the Capitol, should be immediately thrown out, cause I am deeply sorry and vow not to repeat the mistake. Well, I'm so glad you've learnt your lesson. And to make sure you did learn your lesson, the think tank you work for fired you. Well done. Jolly good. Spiffing. For our final story, we're going to go to Rufus Hound, who was recently cancelled by the UK media. Interestingly, on the 29th of September 2020, he tweeted out a thread talking about having different opinions, reasons, and pasts one shouldn't seek to hide or be ashamed of, how cultures and times change as do the opinions one puts online. I have summarized this thread, but will link it down below. I highly encourage you all to read it. It is quite lengthy, but it is worth a read. The reason I mention this thread is because on the 23rd of January, Rufus Hound tweeted, "Just been informed that one tabloid newspaper has contacted my agent and threatened to do a hit job on old tweets unless I give them a statement about having to isolate. I tweet this so that people in the other reality know that any outrage they're encouraged to feel tomorrow doesn't come from anything real on behalf of the publisher, but is instead part of blackmailing me to do what they want to do." Which, by the way, is what? Confirm I came into contact with someone who has since received a positive result on a COVID test, and I am required by law to isolate. Anyhow, my pin tweet is a pin tweet for a reason. The pin tweet was what I just mentioned. The tabloid was the Daily Mail. Why? Because he had claimed long ago that the Manchester Arena terror attack was a plan by Theresa May to win the election in 2017. It was a spicy tweet. He's a comedian. Of course it's a spicy tweet. It is incredibly disingenuous of any tabloid to blackmail somebody into complying so that they get the story they want. And you kind of failed at cancelling Rufus Hound, and I now have a lot more respect for Rufus Hound. As we're done, I'd like to know what you all think, so please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you tonight on the political recap stream on the Moisty Live channel with Trups LP, have a fantastic Friday and subsequent weekend, and thank you all for listening.